Should we care about money? Should we care about what other people think about us? Should we care about all the things that are happening in the world? What should we actually care about? I recently saw an advertisement that said, "Do you have 20 seconds to make a difference?" And I thought to myself, I don't have 20 seconds to spare. I'm busy trying to make $1 billion. But it made me realize that this idea of time has become so relative. When we're young, our parents tell us that we wasted too much time playing video games or hanging out with friends instead of studying. When we get older, we tell ourselves that we wasted time doing things like buying a house or having kids when we could have done those things later. And then as we get even older, we might say, "I wish I spent more time with my family," or "I wish I took more risks," or "I wish I did unspend so much time working." Time is always slipping through our fingers, and no matter what we do, it's never going to stop. So how do we decide what we should be spending it on? A lot of our decisions come down to the fact that we want to maximize the amount of money we have. We work for higher salaries. We try to invest that money wisely, and we cut back on expenses to try to save more. A lot of my life has been spent thinking about this equation and making sure that the left side stays bigger than the right side. The problem is when we start caring too much about this equation. So let me ask you a few questions. Is money really money if it's sitting in a bank account earning 0.0001% interest per year? Or is money only real when we go out and spend it? Is money really worth anything if we don't have enough to buy our time back? Isn't the point of money to give us more freedom? Isn't the whole point of investing to be able to do whatever we want whenever we want? Now, I can see both sides of the argument here. Yes, money does lose value every year due to inflation. Having lots of money sitting around doesn't do anything for anyone. However, having any money at all means that we read better off than a lot of other people, and we should count ourselves as being very lucky. The fact is that there will always be someone who has more money than us. There will always be someone who earns more than we do. And as long as we keep comparing ourselves to other people, we're going to feel like we don't have enough. When we obsess over money, we stop looking at it as something that can help us live our lives, and instead we treat it as something that defines our success. How many times have we heard people say things like, "Money does unto buy happiness," or "I am rich now, so I don't need your advice anymore"? But the truth is that everything in life is a trade-off. We can spend all of our time creating amazing memories with our loved ones, but then we might run out of money and struggle to pay for medical bills or put food on the table. We can spend all of our time trying to make as much money as possible, but then we miss out on all those amazing memories with our loved ones. The reality is that we have limited time and limited resources, and we have to figure out what to do with them. For most of human history, we didn't have enough food, clean water, shelter, safety, or healthcare. These were the things we had to worry about every single day. But these are no longer the main concerns for a lot of us today. Of course, there are still people in the world suffering from these issues, but if that's all we focus on, then we get sucked into what I call the black hole of sadness. We also can't spend all of our time worrying about the state of the world because, again, that would just bring us down and make us depressed. This isn't to say that we shouldn't be aware of what's going on. If we ignore the problems in the world, then they're going to get worse. There are two options in front of us. One is to fixate on the things we can control, and the other is to fixate on the things we can control. Option 1 will lead to depression, anxiety, and a complete loss of hope. Option 2 will lead to clarity, determination, and an unshakable belief in our ability to improve the future. As humans, we have this incredible ability to adapt. Whatever we're faced with, we find a way to overcome it. The human race has been tested time and time again throughout history. And yes, a lot of people have died. Yes, a lot of people have suffered, but humans have endured and have learned how to recover from whatever gets thrown at them. In a way, it seems like we're living through one of the greatest tests yet. But if we don't allow ourselves to become consumed by fear and despair, we can come out of this stronger than ever before. Instead of wasting energy worrying about the things we can't change, we should put all of our efforts towards the things we can change. This is where the concept of money comes in. Money is just a tool that allows us to trade our time and our energy for the things we need to survive. Money is just a medium of exchange. It has no intrinsic value. All of its value is assigned to it by whoever is exchanging it. Think about this. If we got rid of the US dollar tomorrow, we would immediately revert back to using things like gold and commodities to trade goods and services. But that wouldn't change the actual value of the things themselves. It would only change the medium in which we exchanged those things. Even in the digital age, if we lost access to the internet or banking systems for some reason, we would revert back to using physical money to buy things. We would also revert back to bartering, which is basically just saying, "Hey, I have this thing that's valuable to you, and I'll give it to you if you give me this other thing that's valuable to me." At the end of the day, we still have to use something to trade our time and our energy for the things we need to survive. So yes, we should care about money. We should care about it in the same way that we care about a hammer. We wouldn't walk up to a wall and start hammering it, without first putting a nail in the wall and deciding where we're going to hang a picture. In the same way, we shouldn't just chase money blindly without knowing what we want to use it for. We should ask ourselves, what do I want to be able to buy with my money? What do I need to survive? What do I need to make my life comfortable? What do I need to help others? How can I use money to make a positive impact on the world? Too often we look at money as the answer, but we don't know what question we're asking it. And this is why a lot of people feel empty inside. They're chasing money because they think it will make them happy, but they've never asked themselves why they want to be rich in the first place. If we take the time to figure out what we want from life, and how we can use money to help us achieve that, then we won't just be chasing money blindly. We'll be chasing the things that money can buy. If we want to be healthy, we can use money to afford gym memberships, healthy food, and preventative medicine. If we want to be connected, we can use money to travel and meet new people. If we want to be productive, we can use money to hire an assistant, buy productivity tools, and learn from experts. If we want to be generous, we can use money to give back to society and help others less fortunate than us. The truth is that money can buy almost anything we want, but we have to know what we want. I believe that if we figure out how to use money to achieve the things that will give us meaning in life, then we can find true wealth. With that being said, there are certain things that money simply cannot buy. It can't buy us love, it can't buy us peace of mind, and it can't buy us happiness. Happiness is something that's generated from within us, and although money can help create the conditions for happiness, it can't be the source of happiness itself. This is why it's important to care about the other things in life, like our relationships, our health, and our sense of purpose. Chasing money without considering these other aspects of life is the path to emptiness and despair. Caring about money without understanding the bigger picture is like staring at a screen all day. It may seem like we're accomplishing something, but in reality, we're just wasting our time. At the end of the day, it's up to each of us to decide what we should care about. But I hope that I've given you some things to think about. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I post new videos every week about earning, investing, and building wealth. Thanks for watching, and until next time,